CEOs usually arrive at Christmas dinners in tailored suits surrounded by assistants and security. But that night, Emily Carter walked into the Grand Willow Hotel carrying only one thing that mattered, her 8-year-old daughter, Lily. No one noticed the little girl standing quietly beside her mother, not until a maintenance worker knelt down and spoke to her without saying a single word. Emily Carter hadn't planned on attending the charity Christmas dinner. Her calendar had been overflowing for weeks. As the CEO of one of Chicago's fastest-growing healthcare companies, December was always packed with board meetings, investor calls, and end-of-year deadlines. But this event was different. Her late husband had helped fund the children's charity years earlier, and after his passing, Emily continued supporting it every Christmas. She almost canceled. Lily had been unusually quiet lately. Since losing her father 2 years before, she rarely smiled. She was born profoundly deaf, and while Emily had spent years learning sign language, endless work meetings often stole the time she wished she had with her daughter. Sometimes the guilt kept her awake longer than the work did. That evening, Emily promised herself one thing: no phone, no business, just Lily. The ballroom glowed with Christmas lights, elegant decorations, and soft holiday music Lily couldn't hear but could feel through the vibrations beneath her feet. Guests laughed, champagne glasses clinked, children ran between decorated trees. Lily simply stood close to her mother, hugging a worn teddy bear. She watched everyone, but didn't join anyone. Emily noticed. Her heart quietly sank. Then the ballroom lights flickered. A few seconds later, everything went dark. A collective groan filled the room. Someone joked about calling maintenance. Within minutes, a man wearing a blue maintenance uniform walked inside carrying a toolbox. His name tag read, Ryan Brooks. Most guests barely looked at him. To them, he was just the guy fixing the electrical panel. Ryan was 36, a single father. Every morning started before sunrise. He packed lunches for his 6-year-old son Noah, dropped him at school, worked 10-hour maintenance shifts, then spent evenings helping with homework before falling asleep exhausted. Money was always tight. Medical bills from Noah's asthma treatments had erased nearly every dollar of savings. Christmas gifts this year were mostly bought from thrift stores. Still, Ryan never complained. As he checked the breaker panel near the ballroom wall, he noticed Lily watching him. She looked curious. He smiled. Then, without thinking, he signed. "Hello." Lily froze. Her eyes widened. She quickly signed back. "Hi." Ryan smiled again. The conversation continued naturally. No words, only hands. Emily turned around just in time to see her daughter doing something she hadn't seen in months. She was smiling, not politely, not forcing it, actually smiling. For a few precious seconds, Lily completely forgot about everyone else in the room. Emily walked closer. "You know sign language?" she asked. Ryan looked slightly embarrassed. "A little." Lily immediately corrected him through signs. "He knows a lot." Ryan laughed. "My wife was deaf." The smile faded just a little. Emily noticed. "We lost her 5 years ago." Silence settled between them. "I wanted our son to grow up speaking both languages." Emily didn't know what to say. "I'm sorry." Ryan simply nodded. "It's okay. Life keeps moving." The lights suddenly returned. Guests applauded. Most people returned to their conversations. Ryan grabbed his toolbox. "I should get back to work." Before leaving, he signed to Lily. "Merry Christmas." She signed back enthusiastically. "You too." For the first time that evening, Emily saw hope inside her daughter's eyes. Dinner continued. Executives discussed mergers, politicians gave speeches, photographers captured smiling faces. Emily couldn't focus. She kept looking toward the hallway where Ryan had disappeared. Later that night, while leaving the hotel, she saw him outside loading equipment into an old pickup truck. It struggled to start twice. Finally, the engine came alive. Emily almost drove away. Instead, she rolled down her window. "Ryan?" He walked over. "Thank you." "For fixing the lights?" Emily smiled. "No, for my daughter." Ryan looked genuinely surprised. "I didn't really do anything. You did more in 5 minutes than I've managed in months." He shook his head. She just needed someone willing to meet her where she is. Those words stayed with Emily all night. Over the next few weeks, she couldn't stop thinking about them. She started leaving work earlier, canceled unnecessary meetings, practiced sign language every evening with Lily. Slowly, the little girl laughed more, talked more, smiled more. Christmas had changed something, but Ryan's life wasn't changing nearly as quickly. The hotel announced budget cuts after the holidays. Maintenance positions would be reduced. Ryan survived the first round, not the second. 2 weeks later, he lost his job. He smiled for Noah anyway. It's temporary. Inside, he wasn't sure. Bills piled up. Interviews led nowhere. He worked odd repair jobs just to keep rent paid. Some nights he skipped dinner so Noah could have seconds. One snowy afternoon, his truck finally died. He sat behind the steering wheel, wondering how much more he could lose before life finally gave him a break. Then his phone rang. The caller ID showed an unfamiliar number. "Hello, Mr. Brooks?" "Yes, this is Emily Carter." He immediately remembered. "The Christmas dinner. I was hoping you'd remember. I've actually been trying to find you." Ryan looked confused. "Why?" "I'd like to meet." The next morning, Ryan walked into Carter Healthcare's headquarters wearing the only dress shirt he owned. He assumed she wanted maintenance work, maybe a building supervisor position. That alone would have been life-changing. Instead, Emily placed a folder on the table. "I have an unusual offer." Ryan opened it. Inside were plans for a new employee support center. It included childcare rooms, family counseling, mental health services, accessibility programs. Emily leaned forward. "I realized something after meeting you. Our company talks constantly about caring for people, but we weren't doing enough for our own employees." Ryan listened quietly. "I want someone who actually understands families." He blinked. "I've never worked in corporate management." "I know. You've worked in real life." She smiled. "I can teach business. I can't teach compassion." Ryan hesitated. What exactly would I be doing? Helping build a workplace where parents don't have to choose between work and family? It sounded impossible. He almost turned it down. Fear whispered that he wasn't qualified, that he'd embarrass himself, that someone else deserved the opportunity. Emily noticed the hesitation. "You know why I chose you?" He shook his head. "Because you saw my daughter. Everyone else saw the CEO." Ryan accepted. The first months weren't easy. Corporate meetings felt like another language. He made mistakes, forgot terminology, asked what he feared were stupid questions. Some executives quietly questioned Emily's decision. One even called it an emotional hire. Ryan heard about it, it hurt. But he kept showing up, listening, learning, building trust one conversation at a time. Employees started sharing struggles they had never told management. Parents overwhelmed by childcare costs. Workers caring for elderly parents. Mothers returning after maternity leave feeling invisible. Ryan didn't solve every problem. He listened. And sometimes, that mattered most. Within a year, employee retention reached its highest level in company history. Absenteeism dropped. Productivity improved. The company won national recognition for its family-first workplace culture. Reporters praised Emily's leadership. She always corrected them. "This wasn't my idea. It started with one maintenance worker who reminded me what leadership actually looks like." During the following Christmas celebration, the ballroom looked almost identical. Same decorations, same glowing trees, same warm lights. Only one thing was different. Ryan wasn't there fixing electrical panels. He stood beside Emily as the guest of honor. Lily walked onto the small stage carrying her teddy bear. She looked out at hundreds of employees. Then she signed, "My mom says heroes wear suits." She smiled toward Ryan. "But sometimes they carry toolboxes." The room became completely silent. Many people didn't understand sign language. Emily translated every word. By the time she finished, there wasn't a dry eye in the ballroom. Ryan looked down, overwhelmed. He had spent years believing success belonged to people with expensive degrees, powerful titles, or perfect resumes. Instead, the moment that changed everything had come from one simple decision: to make a lonely little girl feel seen. And for Emily, the greatest Christmas gift wasn't building a more successful company. It was realizing that the smallest acts of kindness often reveal the people capable of changing lives in the biggest ways.